Hi friends, welcome back and welcome if you're new here. I thought I would do kind of more of a weekly style vlog instead of a weekend vlog just to see how that goes. And I'm getting ready for work right now, but I wanted to talk about this book, Boy Parts. I'm almost done with it. I've got about 20 pages left, and the only thing holding me back from finishing it is that I have to go to work right now. But this is completely consuming me. I love it. It is kind of American Psycho meets My Year of Rest and Relaxation meets Bunny by Mona Awad. And I love Bunny and I love Mona Awad, so this was just like right up my alley. I definitely want to pick up another book by Eliza Clark, Penance, after reading this one because I love this book so much. Yeah, it's kind of about the male gaze but through a female perspective. And I love any book with an unhinged female narrator, so I definitely find that this is right up my alley. I can't wait to finish it and just kind of see what happens, but right now I'm definitely getting those American Psycho vibes. Got a little bit darker than I thought it would. I knew this was going to be kind of weird, kind of absurdist, and pretty dark, but it definitely got a lot darker than I thought. But it's definitely sparking some interesting conversation points, and I'm really excited to finish it and talk about it further. But I just wanted to touch in. I do have to go to work, so fortunately I'll have to pick this back up later, but yeah. We have made it to midweek, which is super exciting because I am ready for the weekend and this week is dragging. But I finished Boy Parts. I loved this. I love anything with an unhinged woman and an unreliable narrator, and this is about an erotic photographer who kind of blurs the line of consent. This is about power and power dynamics and women in male spaces. And this character, she was abused by a teacher when she was in school, and she claims that it doesn't affect her, but I do believe that it actually does and kind of shaped her into who she has become. She's mean, she's crass, she's funny, she's interesting, but she's not a very nice person. And as time goes on and she becomes more violent and more aggressive and commits more atrocities against her victims, she feels like she's not being taken seriously. No matter what she does to a man, they don't see her as a threat. And I think that's very true for women. No matter what we do, we're often not taken seriously and we're not perceived as threatening, even when we're, baring our teeth. I know there's been some times in my life where I've been approached by weird men and I've just kind of had to pretend to be crazy to get them to leave me alone, and they still wouldn't take me seriously. I specifically remember a man driving up to me on the side of the road once and trying to get my number, and I had to scream at him to get him to leave. So I definitely understand the concept of not feeling threatening to men no matter what you do, and this book really explores that deeply, and I loved it. I thought it was portrayed really interesting, kind of through a female Patrick Bateman of sorts. And there's one line, I don't have the exact line, but she says something along the lines of, what do I have to do to leave a mark on a man? And I thought that was really powerful. So I really enjoyed this book. I think it's one of my favorite books of the year. I don't think this needs to be said, but definitely read the trigger warnings if you need them, because it does explore some intense topics. And now I'm reading Blue Nights by Joan Didion. I just started this last night, so I'm only about 30 pages in, but this is about the grief and trauma of losing her daughter. I got this as a Christmas gift, and I definitely waited till it was a little bit warmer outside to read it, because when I'm reading something that's pretty gloomy, I kind of want the weather to be warmer so that I'm not just depressed. But so far I'm loving the writing style. I love any kind of observational memoir that's, really beautifully written, and she has a great writing style. And yeah, I'm excited to keep going, but yeah, now I have to get ready for work, so I'll check back in later. Okay, we made it to Friday, which is such a relief because it's been such a crazy week. I'm taking a mental health day on Monday so I can have a long weekend, because my anxiety has just been through the roof with how crazy my job's been. So I'm kind of excited for that, just to rest and not really do anything with that day and just relax. But I'm almost done with Blue Nights by Joan Didion. I have about 20 pages left, so I should finish that tonight, and it's really good. Her writing is really vulnerable and honest, and I like her take on grief and how she experienced it. I think the book is the perfect length. I don't think it really needed to be any longer, because it is about those vulnerable moments. I don't think you need to see that deeply inside someone's psyche when they're going through grief and pain. I think she shared just enough with the world, and that's within reason for her, and didn't have to go any deeper. And I think so far this is really beautiful. And I think my next read will probably be Night Bitch, or maybe The Phantom of the Opera. I might mix it up, I don't know, but both of those are on my TBR. And then I did finish the chapter I was working on for my novel, and that was pretty much all I had left to do. I've done a ton of major edits, and honestly, I did send in one query to an agent that I am really excited about. I probably won't hear anything back, that's just the way it goes, but I did at least put one out there just to test the waters, because I am pretty excited about it. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I think I'll just spend the weekend working on getting my agent list going, just kind of adding to it. I have a spreadsheet where I'm adding all the agents I want to send my query to, and working on my synopsis, because a lot of agents ask for that, and that's kind of the hardest part. It's the easiest part and the hardest part at the same time. You're just writing all the plot beats out very plainly, but you have to do it in 1,000 words, and it's really hard to describe your whole project in 1,000 words, so I'll probably spend the weekend doing that. But yeah, today I just have to get through Friday. So anyway, I'll check in later. So the flowers from yesterday are looking so pretty. They're coming to life. And originally I thought this vase was going to be way too big, but as these start to bloom, I think it'll actually be the perfect size. I'm hoping these little ones will bloom, but basically we're redoing the yard, and a lot of the rose bushes have to go, so I'm glad I was able to salvage something. But yeah, I think they look gorgeous. So I thought I could share my TBR. I'm currently reading Night Bitch, and I finished Joan Didion's book as well. But I have a lot of books on my list. The situation has kind of gotten crazy. I need to finish the Outlander series. I'm obsessed with Outlander, but I've only read the first 2 books. They're all like 1,000 pages long. They're all massive. I love the show. I rewatch the show constantly, so I already kind of know some of the stuff that happens in these books, but every time I pick one up, it's so good, and I just need to finish it, but like, who has the time? This is so many pages. This is like 8,000 pages to get through, but hopefully someday I can do it. But yeah, I need to do it, so. I also need to finish the last book in the Legendborn series. It's also kind of a chunky book, and I read the first 2, but I just needed a little break before I started the 3rd one, so this is just sitting on my TBR, waiting for me to get around to it. And then I have all of these books. The Idiot, I've heard mixed reviews on. Initially, I heard nothing but good things about this book, and now I'm seeing people say that they thought they were going to love this and they didn't. I'm not sure, but I'm still excited to read it. I mean, it was a Pulitzer Prize finalist. It must be good. This is about a daughter of Turkish immigrants at her first year at Harvard, where she signs up for classes in subjects she's never heard of. She befriends a classmate, and basically she comes to terms with the fact that she is doomed to become a writer. I feel that. And she falls in love. I guess this is a coming of age story. And it's emotional, and and funny as well. It's supposed to be really funny. So I'm excited to read this, even though I've heard mixed reviews. Sometimes I hear mixed reviews and end up loving the book anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. Then The Phantom of the Opera. This might be my next read. I've been dying to read this. I love the movie. I love the stage production. I just need to read this. It's been on my list for a while, so it's just kind of staring at me, and this will probably be my next read. If not, my next read will be this Grady Hendrix. I love Grady Hendrix. I don't read a ton of books written by men, but I love Grady Hendrix. I don't care. I think his books are really fun. I think anything that kind of mixes horror and humor is just a nice book to turn your brain off, and I've heard really good things about this one. This is about the women's homes that were made to give birth. Back in the day, you know, it was kind of shameful to give birth out of wedlock, so they'd send you to one of those homes, and he's kind of combined this with a story of witchcraft, and I've heard great things about it. I loved How to Sell a Haunted House. I loved the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires and Final Girl Support Club, so I definitely can't wait to read this. So one of these will be my next read. Don't know which one yet. Of course, I have the unabridged journals of Sylvia Plath, and I have been dying to get this. My boyfriend bought this for me because he knew I wanted it so badly. It's huge, and my TBR is just constantly growing, and every book on it is just massive, and it's just a huge undertaking. I love Sylvia Plath. I've always loved her. But this is just overwhelming to me right now. Then I have Villette by Charlotte Bronte. I'm a Bronte ho. I love Jane Eyre. I love Wuthering Heights. Those are my favorite books. And so I've been wanting to read this one, also by Charlotte Bronte. And this is about a girl named Lucy Snow who sets sail from England to find employment at an all-girls boarding school in a small town of Villette. She struggles to retain her self-possession in the face of unruly pupils, a headmistress who spies on her staff, and her own complex feelings. First for the school's English doctor, and then for the dictatorial professor Paul Emanuel. Drawing on her own experiences as a teacher in Brussels, Charlotte Bronte's last and most autobiographical novel is a powerful, moving study of pain and unrequited love. I have heard the story about how she was in love with a married teacher at a school that she worked at, and this is heavily based on that. So, like, that is very interesting gossip. I'm very excited to read it through her lens. But yeah, very excited to read this. I've also got the Book of Goose. This is supposed to be a really beautiful read about two girls who grew up in a small French countryside town during the war. I'm actually not sure if it's World War I or World War II. I think it's World War II era. I'm not seeing it on the back here, but basically it's just about as Fabienne is dead, her childhood best friend Agnes receives the news in America, far from the French countryside where the two girls were raised, the place that Fabienne helped Agnes escape 10 years ago. Now Agnes is free to tell her story. As children in a war-ravaged backwater town, they built a private world invisible to everyone but themselves until Fabienne hatched the plan that would change everything, launching Agnes on an epic trajectory through fame, fortune, and terrible loss. So I'm really excited to read this one. It's another one that seems a little daunting because I definitely feel like I just have been looking for something that is a little bit more kind of absurdist or weird or spooky. That's just kind of been the vibe lately. So once I'm done with Night Bitch, I think I'll pick up that Grady Hendrix or Phantom of the Opera, and then I'll dive into something a little more serious after that. Next up, I believe it's pronounced intermezzo, but I've also heard people say intermezzo. I think it's intermezzo. You know, that Italian T from the Z sound. That's what I think this is, by Sally Rooney. And this is about grief. It's about three brothers who lost their father, and it's just kind of about their own personal stories and how they're dealing with grief. And I've heard it's really good. One of her best. That's what I've heard. I don't know. I haven't read anything by Sally Rooney. I really want to read Normal People. It's been on my list forever. I just haven't grabbed it. Why I grabbed this one first, I'm not sure, but I'm really excited to read it. And I'm hoping to read all of her stuff. I've heard nothing but good things, so I'm excited to start here and see where it goes. And then I have Junie. I'm really excited to read this. I heard about the book through TikTok, through the author's TikTok page, Erin Crosby Eckstein. And so this is about a young girl who must face a life-altering decision after awakening her sister's ghosts, navigating truths about love, friendship, and power as the Civil War looms. So this just seems like such a beautiful read. I've seen quite a few people pick this one up, so I'm really excited. This is a new release, or a fairly new release within the last couple months, so yeah, that's what's on my TBR. It's ever-growing, and it's massive, and I'm trying to get through it one day at a time. So I'm just having like a super cozy weekend at home. I did the flowers yesterday just because we're losing the flowers in the yard, like I said, so that was fun but relaxing. And I haven't done anything other than kind of read, and I've done some writing and little research on agents. So I'm hoping to use my extra day off, since I did take that sick day tomorrow, which is Monday. I'm going to spend more time working on my agent list and just kind of getting an idea of who I'm going to reach out to with my book. I'm also working on my second book, because once you finish your first, you're supposed to just keep going. So I picked up an old manuscript that I was working on before I started the book that I just completed. For some reason I abandoned it to finish the one that I just finished. So just kind of the cycle, but I'm reading Night Bitch right now. I'm not very far into it. I finished the Joan Didion book, Blue Nights, on Friday night, and I've just kind of been taking my time with this. I think I'm like 30 pages in. But so far I'm enjoying it. The writing style is a little different. but I don't mind it. I like anything about an unhinged woman that's kind of trying to change the narrative around gender and domestic roles and just societal expectations that are placed on women. This is through the perspective of a mother, and that's not something that super resonates with me, but I think overall I'm going to enjoy this story. So I'm excited to keep reading it. And I've just been watching some TV. We're watching Killing Eve, which is one of my favorite shows. My boyfriend's never seen it, and he just randomly turned it on, so that's been really fun to watch my favorite show with him. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep relaxing, and I hope you liked this video, and if you did, go ahead and subscribe. I'm gonna keep making videos like this because I find it really fun and really relaxing. So thank you for hanging out with me.